Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Imagine a flowchart of your life. One choice leads to another, and suddenly you're in a box labeled fear. Now, this box pops up throughout everyone's life flowchart multiple times. But as with other boxes you find yourself in during your life, the box of fear has arrows of decision. Two basic choices you can make to flow on to the next box. One choice, continuing down to the next box, is to continue to fear. The box it leads you to is labeled more fear. And if you follow that string of boxes, you can lead to boxes labeled panic, discouragement, and depression, and other equally distasteful places. But if you look closely, one arrow out of this flowchart of destruction always points to the same box, labeled Trust God. In Psalm 56, David found himself in a box of fear. The Philistines of Gath had seized him. He cried out to the Lord, "Be gracious to me, O God, for man has trampled upon me. Fighting all day long, he oppresses me. My foes have trampled upon me all day long, for they are many who fight proudly against me." Remember who was from Gath? Goliath. His friends and relatives had David in their clutches, and they had plans for vengeance. That's the box of fear David found himself in. What will he do? He can choose to continue to fear, totally freak out and panic, or he could trust God, who had brought him this far. His declaration in verse 3 and 4 show what he chose. He said, "When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you, in God whose word I praise. In God I have put my trust. I shall not be afraid. What can mere men do to me?" Sometimes we read about Bible characters and put them on a pedestal, saying, David went through all these difficulties without fear. That is not true. He did fear. Everyone fears. Fear is a natural part of life. But we can choose to wallow in it and let it control us, or turn to the Lord with trust. Trust is a conscious decision. In fact, often it's a decision we must make over and over, remind ourselves of it, refocus on it as fear raises its ugly head again and again. As circumstances change, our life flowchart may continually dump us into these fear boxes. But each one comes equipped with an arrow that leads to trust. In David's situation here, his enemies continually attack him and oppress him. I can picture him repeating to himself, reminding himself, "When I am afraid, I will put my trust in you," making that conscious choice. He then flows from the box labeled fear into the one labeled trust, then straight into the box labeled praise. Trust and praise silence fear. David encouraged himself in times of crisis with God's promises and power. And then that turned into praise. Focusing on who God is and what He can do puts any problem into perspective and leads to praise. After all, as David says in verse 4, enemies can do nothing to me except by divine permission. I am safe in the hands of God. I can fear Him and trust Him, or fear people and circumstances and be hopeless. Faith always brings forth praise. When you are afraid, will you trust and praise the Lord?
As always, we'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to share a treasure, support this ministry, or get Carla to speak at an event, please contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.